What's going on, guys? Welcome back. Today, I have another fantastic example of the trading strategy that I do look for on a daily basis. This was on a stock that I actually was not very interested in coming into the day, but we did get some action on it pre-market, which I was happy to see because there's been a lot of actionless stuff going on in anticipation of some big earnings and some big economic data. We got some action on DELL, which was a stock that I have watched before, but a stock that definitely was getting some momentum in the pre-market due to some downside on SMCI. So we were getting some really strong upside on DELL, which was breaking through some previous rejection points and definitely driving some FOMO in the pre-market. Now, if you guys know my trading strategy, it is always going to require some type of a pullback and some type of a retest of a previous rejection point. That's if we're going to the upside. Of course, if we're coming to the downside, we're looking for breaks of previous support, pushes back up into it, and then a rejection. In this case, it was DELL to the upside. We broke above a very key $125 previous rejection point, and we needed to wait for the retest. In today's video, I'm going to really stress on the importance of waiting for that retest to find the proper entry. Not chasing it, not getting FOMO, waiting for the retest. It always comes in, and today was a fantastic example of that on DELL. Now, after we go over DELL, I want to do a few more analyses on Tesla, something that I have been holding, and I want to go ahead and show you what I'm looking at on Tesla, and then also on TSM, another stock that I've been waiting for this major retest, and I want to go ahead and talk through that as well. So today, DELL break and retest, a little bit of Tesla analysis, TSM. I hope this video helps you guys. Press that like button if it does. Subscribe to the channel. Let's go ahead and get started. So guys, no matter what, I'm starting my day every single day looking at the hourly and 4-hour chart. I'm always looking at where those major previous rejection and major previous support levels are. Where has the stock reacted on larger time frames? This is where the most volume is. This is where the largest reactions are. This is where you want to be a trade participant. I'm not going to get tunnel visioned on the 2-minute, on the 5-minute. I want to make sure I know where the major levels are. 1 hour, 4 hours, sometimes even out to the daily. Let me make sure I know those levels. Let me put those on my chart. So this morning when we saw DELL pushing higher, and shout out to the group because I wasn't really even watching DELL, but I saw people starting to talk about it, which ended up making me a lot of money today. We saw that DELL was pushing higher because of SMCI. And when we pop out to this hourly chart, we can very clearly see this structure on DELL, right? We can see that. And we can see that. Look at those very clear flips on DELL, either above 125 or below 125. And you can see how previously you turned it into a rejection, which was previous support, and support, and support, right? Beautiful level there at $125 per share. Now, in the pre-market today, we were ripping, let me mute my phone, we were ripping over 125. We were just flying off this news, and that instills FOMO, right? That instills you wanting to chase. Where's my entry? I have to get in, right? And this right here is another fantastic example of regardless of how much we're up, regardless of what's driving the name, the retest will happen. It could be day of, it could be next day, it could be next week, but that is always, no matter the time frame, that is always going to be your best entry. The retest is always the best entry, whether it happens day of or you have to wait a few days or a few weeks for it to happen, right? That depends on how much of a patience trader you are, and this is something that you hear quite often, and I know it sounds cliche, but you've heard it before. Let the trade come to you. And so if you're going to trade the break and retest, you got to enter at 125 on a pullback, and you got to let the trade come to you. So let me go ahead and show you exactly how this went down today. I'm going to go to the 5-minute chart, and I'm going to go ahead and zoom in into today's price action. That's not like that. That's not how we want to see it. 5-minute chart. Actually, you know what? We're going to go to the 2 because that's actually how I trade. I trade on the 2. And so this is going to be the best thing to really show you what I was looking at on DELL. So I already knew my plan coming into the day. It was a $125 break and retest. That was the key level. That's what I was looking for. And you guys can see that in the pre-market, I'll go ahead and highlight that. We got that straight up move to the upside. Now, when the bell rang, you saw pretty much it took about the first 15 minutes of the market, we went straight down. And now that straight down is not meaningful, right? Because we know we are coming down into that previous level. So if you're trading with the understanding that that 125 level is below, and that's the major retest level that provides risk reward, then this beginning of the day is exactly what you want, right? This is exactly what we wanted to find our entry point. We didn't want to have to chase this at this breakout point. We didn't want to have to chase this up into these rejection points up here. We wanted the retest of the 125 because we knew if we're above 125 and we retest it, that is the previous rejection point, right? Right here, previous rejection point. If we're above it, we're looking to come back down and turn that into support for the entry long. Very nice, very clean. So let's go back to that 2-minute chart. We go back to the 2-minute chart. And we can see just about 15 minutes after open, our DELL started to find support in this 125 area. And I started to add into this position, right? Got into that position, and I'll pop up the entry and the position up on the screen for you guys to see. This was a trade I went ahead and entered right around this 9:44, 9:45 time frame, and I pretty much just let that baby sit. As long as we were above that 125, I was interested in this to maintain. And pretty much the rest of the day, guys, it was a beautiful, beautiful upside squeeze. 125, upside squeeze, a little bit of consolidation. Next leg higher, where I went ahead and I took some profits off near those highs. I'll go ahead and show you that exit as well up on the screen for you to see. This is something I talked to the group about right here. You can see right around here, 12:45, locked up some of our DELL trade here, reducing some risk pre-earnings, which is of course pre-earnings on Microsoft and Meta. This was right around that 135 supply, and that was pretty much the high of day, which was a great, great exit on DELL right there. So beautiful from the 125 retest to the next supply. We took this entire move, which is pretty crazy. I'm very happy how I traded that. Why was I interested in starting to sell up here, right? Why did I know that there would be a potential rejection there? Once again, guys, it all comes off the levels. So once again, let's go ahead and take a look at the levels on DELL. Let's go out to the 4-hour chart. Take a look at this, right? 4-hour chart on DELL. Look at this 135 spot. 135, 135, 135. So we know if we're going to come back into 135, there's going to be some rejections up at that level. And if you're trading with the levels rather than trading with emotion, then you know sellers are going to stack up at that spot. That means you need to start to take profits and reduce risk to make sure if a pullback comes in, you're chilling, you're okay, it's fine, right? And now I still hold a little bit of DELL because I like to do this where I'll, take my great entry, I'll go ahead and scalp off some profits, and I'll let it play out, right? If I got to give back some here, that's fine. I'm going to give it until 125, which is the original game plan. If DELL wants to sort of find some demand, start to continue higher again, great. That's what I'll be looking for. But now I've already taken, my position from here to here, locked up those profits, and if it does come back down and fail back under 125, then I give back some profits, and I call it a trade. So that's DELL. That was today. There were my entries and exits. You guys saw them up on the screen. Once again, I'll show it all up for you guys to see all together. And that was it, right? A beautiful trade there on DELL from today. Now, what I want to do now is I want to go into Tesla, and I want to talk a little bit about my ideas and what I've been continuing to look for on Tesla, because I do still hold my long position here, and I'm still quite interested, even though I know there has been some concerns about some of the intraday strength, right? We've definitely seen a little bit of weakness on Tesla after the big push, right? We're starting to get those failures over the last few days. Definitely seems a little bit heavy, but I want to go ahead and talk about what I see here and where I am still willing to potentially add to this position if we get lower. So obviously we all know Tesla had that big squeeze right into that 270 supply, which is exactly where that rejection came in, and that's still going to be the major level that has to break. Now, over the last 2 days, we dropped back under 265, and we're clearly under that 270. These are the very two clear rejection points that we need to get back above for Tesla to start to really push back to the upside. Now, as we creep lower, I still believe this is an interesting long opportunity. I think there's going to be a lot of traders that really think about shorting Tesla, thinking that it's going to fail again, right? I personally do not believe that this move here, which was a move based off actual fundamentals, off of earnings, I don't think this is just going to give back this entire move. That would be a little bit crazy to me. There's definitely a lot of big money involved in this move, and I don't think you're just going to see this fully give back. Now, I know there's a lot of Tesla haters out there that are going to say that they think it will, which is very possible. I'm not saying it's not, but I'm on the side of thinking that there is a retracement long still here somewhere. The key at this point is finding where that is, and I can't tell perfectly, but I know that someone that is patient here, that finds that retracement long, will be paid off handsomely. That is where my mindset is right now. I want to try to find where is this retracement long, where's the key level that we need to come down to, and where is that spot to average into and have time. I think the biggest thing I can explain here on this Tesla mindset is that time is your enemy right now. Really, it's either your friend or your enemy, however you think about it. It's your enemy if you don't take enough time. It's your friend if you give yourself time. I would highly recommend not trading short-term expirations on Tesla. This is something that I think you want to be very patient on. This is something that if we go out to the monthly chart, which I believe I can go to on, yes, I can go to on Tesla. If I go out to this monthly chart, guys, and we take a blank chart here, let me go ahead and get a blank chart on Tesla. If we go out to this monthly chart, I believe you have created a very big breakout here on this Tesla monthly. And this is something that I would not just ignore, right? This is something that could start to play. It's something that's going to take a lot of time. And I think this breakout is meaningful. If we go to the weekly chart as well, we can see here on the weekly chart on Tesla. Let me get a little bit more time. Let me zoom out. So here on the weekly chart, you can see same exact thing. A important, in my opinion, breakout, right? After a very positive earnings. However, if you're focused on Tesla on the day by day, you're going to get scared out of this position. You're going to get scared out of this trade. However, I think someone that can stay patient here and really think long term can be handsomely rewarded here over time. I think this is possibly something that starts to change on Tesla, and I'm interested, right, to say the least. So that's my sort of bigger picture idea and why I want to stay long Tesla. Try to ignore some of the intraday weakness that people are scared of, the emotional retail trader type syndrome. I want to stay out of that type of, feeling. I don't want to look at it. I'm barely even watching Tesla on the intraday because I know Tesla plays those games. I know it's going to make you think it's weak. I know it's going to try to scare you out. That's what Tesla does. It's a it does a great job at doing that, and I've seen it for years. However, there's more to this. There's something more here. I truly believe it, and I'm trying to position myself allowing that to happen. I would assume nothing really happens at least until after the elections, into December, maybe into next year, is really where I'm thinking you might start to see a move. But I would like to start to just watch these levels with a very open mindset. Right now, I am watching 255, I'm watching 250, and I'm watching 245. Those are my next big levels. Let me go ahead and explain to you why I have those levels on my chart. I'll go to the hourly chart, and I have to go to the left of this chart, and I will show you why. So the next big level, in my opinion, that we're sort of holding right now is 255. I believe this is a big level back from this previous upside move, 255, and we can see over the last few days that has been holding, which is also, I'll go back into that 5-minute chart, that is also this Friday low, which we can see this bottom that has formed so far. So right now, that 255 is pretty important. If we break under that 255, I think we will come back down to this Thursday high of around 250. Now, if I go out to that hourly chart and I go to 250, I will show you where that comes from. Right here, you can see here on the hourly chart, this is this previous double top high here at 250, and that could very well be an interesting retracement level at 250 as well. I'll be watching that. The big spot that I think could be the ultimate pullback level that we might need to wait for is the 245, 246. That is right here. That is the major previous level that rejected back in early October. You can see right here, this 245, 246, right here again. You can see that rejection, causing that downside off that Cybertruck event, if you remember that. Not the Cybertruck, the Robotaxi event, right? Remember that drop off Robotaxi? That was based off 245, 246 zone. So do we need a retracement back to there? That is possible as well. These are my 3 next levels that I'm watching. 245, 250, 255, 3 retracement spots that I'll continue to watch. Now, the key thing here, and I can't stress this enough because I know it's difficult for a lot of people to think this way and to manage risk correctly. You have to allow yourself to have time and equity if you're going to trade the way that I'm talking. You cannot trade the way that I'm speaking right now if you do not have time and patience and you do not have equity to average into this position. I'm not saying this is for everyone. It's not. But I'm going to explain to you how I'm trading it because I believe I have a duty to. I have a YouTube channel, and I feel like I want to go ahead and make this explanation and this video about what I'm currently doing. So that's my Tesla plan. Looking for the retracement. Where is it? Trying to find that key spot. Getting some exposure. Willing to add more. Looking at the bigger picture because I would rather sit through some drawdown over the next few days, few months for the big move on Tesla that could be coming. I do not want to miss that, and I want to be around for that because I know there's a lot of money to be made there. This is how I'm going to continue to monitor this Tesla trade. All right, guys, so the last thing I want to talk about real quick is TSM. I still think this is something that's loading, and I would be watching this very closely. I'm going to show you guys the levels that I would be watching. If you were watching my live stream a few weeks back, we talked about the retest of the all-time highs on TSM at $194 per share. If we go into the hourly chart, we can see over the last few days, we have started to see this 194 level start to step up. Now today, we saw some very aggressive wick buying off the 20 SMA and that 194 level. This is the previous all-time high retest. This is a very interesting spot on TSM. There's a possibility that we could need to come back down to 190, which is this gap fill area. That is also a possibility as well. So I would be watching this 190 and this 194 level very closely on TSM. These are both pullback long levels that I will be watching, both the 20 SMA and 194 and this 190 gap fill. This is something I would be watching. The only thing I would say about TSM and the entire semiconductor sector is that there is seemingly some weakness here, and you might need to get that SMH to wake up before TSM starts to show. But I would be monitoring what TSM does here as it pulls back to both the 20 SMA on the daily chart and the previous all-time highs. This is a very interesting gap up, gap fill, 20 SMA retest. I'm going to be watching this like a hawk. This is another trade that I'm very interested in over the coming weeks to months. That's all I had for you guys today. DELL, beautiful intraday trade. Took some profits off. Very nice scalp and sort of into swing trade type of trade today. Tesla, big picture idea. Let's keep watching it. Let's stay patient. And TSM, this is my top semiconductor watch right now. If you enjoyed today's video, if you learned something from it, press that like button, subscribe to the channel. If you want to trade live with me every day, get these trade ideas up to date as I look at them, almost by the minute on an intraday basis, you can go ahead and check out the link down below to join the Options Insider trading community. Press that like button, subscribe, and I will see you guys on the live stream tomorrow. Peace out.